Hello and a warm welcome to our election special To The Point, where we follow the top politicians of the country on the campaign trail. This week we are in the eastern coastal state of Orissa, tracking a man who's transformed Orissa by leaps and bounds and is also perceived as a phenomena for the state. Let's track Orissa Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik on the poll turf this time. 67-year-old Orissa Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik remains the unbeatable and unchallenged force who's been steering Biju Janata Dal on its golden run for the last 3 consecutive terms. Bagging 14 out of 21 seats in 2009 Lok Sabha elections, the state will again this time around witness simultaneous 147-member assembly and Lok Sabha polls. The opposition BJP and the Congress are putting out all stops to keep the BJD at bay. But will Naveen Patnaik be lucky for the 4th time? Rajya Sabha TV caught up with the Orissa Chief Minister on the campaign trail. Naveen sir, welcome on To The Point. Let me begin by asking you, sir, that to many people, Naveen Patnaik remains an enigma because he's loved by the people, but at the same time, he's very reserved, very reticent. How does one decode your personality?
Well, actually, I don't think there's much to decode. Over the years, we've been working very hard for the people, for their development schemes, their welfare programs, and that's what we've been concentrating on.
But when this entire country is talking about a Naveen wave, about a Modi wave, here we see in Orissa it's purely a Modi purely a Naveen wave. So what is this phenomena really all about?
As I said, it's because of the constant good programs for the tribals, for women, for the poor that are paying results.
But tell me one thing, sir. So when you've given laptops, you've given umbrellas, you've given so many things to the students. But looking at the way the economy has been in Orissa, I mean, of course, till 2010, everything was very fine. But for the last 2.5 to 3 years, the economy has been on a slight downslide. So does the Exchequer have enough money to carry forward such schemes because they are very popular?
We do have the funds, yes.
Okay. But to carry forward it in future, you say that you have enough funds?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, sir. And I mean, talking about the poll surveys which are coming, BJD has given a clean sweep. But what about pockets like Western Orissa, where BJP is trying to register its presence?
In fact, we've improved in Western Orissa. In the recent urban elections, we've got 80% of the votes, and the BJP hasn't opened its account as yet.
But you don't see a Narendra Modi factor at all in pockets like Western Orissa?
No, in fact, we don't see a Narendra Modi factor in Odisha.
Because the cadres look very upbeat and they are saying that it's like another coming of the party.
No, I think they're quite incorrect.
Okay. The whole idea of the third front, sir, the way it was thought that, you know, if a non-BJP or a non-Congress alliance comes, it's almost like a non-starter now. What do you have to say on the third front idea?
I think it's early days for the third front. Let's await the results of the elections.
Okay.
Then we can see.
But the way it started, sir, the 11 parties came together on the floor of the House, but then again BJD backed out of the whole thing. Do you see a possibility of a third front at all evolving?
As I said, it's too early to tell. Let's see after the results.
So, which means the BJD is keeping its cards open right now?
Well, I wouldn't say that. Our policy is to keep our equidistance from the Congress and the BJP.
Right. But sir, when you say that you have been always trying to maintain an equidistance from BJP and Congress. But during maintaining this distance, don't you think that the state has suffered in terms of maybe the compensation package, the revision of the royalty, and the way the discrimination has been done? Because of this policy, don't you think that you need to revise on this policy?
No, we're very clear about our policy to remain far away from those two parties.
Okay. So you mean to say that you're saying that it's very early to say anything. So which
as
means,
far as the third front is concerned,
right?
Yes, it is early.
But so you severed your party's ties with BJP in 2009. But if at all the NDA government comes to power, are you ready to hold hands with the BJP?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you mean to say that if NDA comes to power, you will not?
Absolutely.
But will you be able to maintain that kind of an antagonistic relationship? Will you be able to remain nonchalant with the NDA if at all it is in the centre?
Absolutely. We've done so for the last 10 years
Okay.
from the central government.
Okay.
And if that happens, we will continue to do so.
But sir, don't you think that the state will suffer because of this? Because obviously when you don't have a good centre-state relationship, it's a state ultimately which suffers in terms of the package. You've always been demanding on a special status to Orissa. That still has not been done in terms of compensation. Again, Orissa has suffered. So if you maintain this policy, don't you think that Orissa will continue to suffer?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
We are now heading off to the airport.
Naveen Patnaik is now off to a number of rallies in places like Kandhamal, Jajpur and Baud. We'll see you there.
Naveen Patnaik and B2 Janata Dal have chosen to stay away from any pre-poll alliance, and this confidence of the party has forced many experts to reiterate that Naveen magic is sustainable. Reaching out to the people mostly with his social welfare schemes, his speeches are interspersed with a mention of his dole-outs like the free laptops, uniforms, umbrellas, and not to mention the 1 rupee rice scheme. Another rally, another set of people. Training his guns on the BJP's Prime Ministerial candidate Narendra Modi, Patnaik always tells his electorate that Modi carries with himself the shadow of the 2002 Godhra carnage. He makes no qualms about severing the 11-year-old alliance with the Saffron Party in 2009 in the wake of anti-Christian riots in Kandhamal.
An interesting observation in Orissa election is that of the BJD election symbol, which is a conch shell. Many local tribals who are uneducated, many times they do not even recognize the names of the candidates or who they are, but vote only in the name of the conch shell.
मैं सब तीनों को जानता हूँ, नवीन पटनायक को भी जानता हूँ।
ये बताइए आप वोट किसके नाम पे डालते हैं?
नवीन पटनायक देगा।
तो आप ठप्पा किस पे लगाते हो?
थप्पा लगाता हूँ शंखा में।
Let's take a short break at this point in time and return with plenty more on the campaign trail with Naveen Patnaik on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching To The Point with Naveen Patnaik, who's on the campaign trail. There is a clear demarcation when it comes to the development indicators. Coastal Orissa remains high on the growth trajectory, but northwestern, western and southern Orissa remain devoid of the basic infrastructure and are also abysmally low as far as the parameters of the social indicators are concerned.
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has rested Congress's campaign in Orissa on the lack of development, unspent funds lying in the state government coffers, 10 lakh youths unemployed, 3,500 farmers committing suicide, and rampant migration eating into the vitals of the state.
Naveen Patnaik maintains a clean image, this despite the fact that there have been accusations against his government on the illegal mining scam, rice scam, midday meal scam and so on. Opposition has tried to make these scams into a poll issue, but Naveen remains undeterred.
A man who till a few months ago was seen as a formidable force of a possible third front is confident of his party's victory in the state, but is wary as to how potent he will become a force at the centre. Till then, wait and watch is the right policy.
So Mr. Patnaik, 8 meetings in a day, how do you really keep your energy level sustained?
It's another 12 days.
Okay.
Then the campaigning will be over.
But how about your eating habits, and I mean, like, what all do you keep for lunch? How do you really go about your lunch and your dinner? Because you generally end up very late from the campaigns.
No, not that late, but we carry some sandwiches for lunch.
Okay.
That's the trick.
Okay. But coming on a serious note to the elections, the kind of overwhelming response we are seeing in whichever pocket of Orissa we are going and watching. But behind all this, there is also the factor of dissension, because don't you think that you've taken a political gamble by denying tickets to almost 1/3 of the legislators and almost more than a dozen of the members of the outgoing Lok Sabha? Don't you think it's a political gamble you've taken?
I think it's quite refreshing for the electorate when there are changes in candidates.
But it can also upset the apple cart of the elections. Don't you think that way? They could also play the role of the troublemakers.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be much trouble on that.
Okay. Coming to the factor of the development on Orissa, the Raghuram Rajan report had recently said that Orissa is one of the least developed states. How do you really agree with that report?
Well, I don't know. The poverty level has gone down considerably in Odisha. As far as agriculture is concerned, we're doing much better.
Okay.
And in several fields, we're the state which is the first among all the states of the country. The Planning Commission has complimented us. The Reserve Bank of India have also done so.
Yeah, it has stated that Orissa is one of the hottest investment destinations.
Yes. And so there are also good news.
Okay. But why is it that, sir, development, in spite of the development which you are talking about, there are reports which also say that, in places like Northwest, Western Orissa and Southern Orissa, the entire tribal population chunk, which is of almost about 24% of the state, they are devoid of the basic infrastructure. They do not have the facilities which are actually seen in the coastal side of Orissa.
No, in fact, as far as the poverty index is concerned, it's improved all over the state.
Okay.
And we've done a lot of welfare schemes for the tribal people.
Okay.
From education to health to irrigation.
Right.
We've taken many steps for tribal upliftment.
Because sir, one of the reports said that the tribal areas, the enrollment numbers and all have drastically gone down. So how far is that true? What about the education, the status of education in Orissa, especially in the tribal belt?
Oh, it's improved hugely. In fact, because the maximum amount of problems as far as education amongst tribal children is concerned is the girls. And we have built now a great many hostels to accommodate them for their education.
Okay.
Thousands of girls.
Right. So in the morning when we were talking, we also spoke about the opposition, BJP and Congress. Congress is trying to gain a kind of a foothold in the southern part. We recently saw Rahul Gandhi coming in and hitting barbs, saying that the state has not even spent enough money and they keep demanding money. So do you really agree with Rahul Gandhi?
No, I don't agree with him at all on that. We do spend the money And often they send the money so late in the financial year that nothing can be done about it.
But is it true that, sir, what Rahul Gandhi said, that 5,000 crore are lying unspent with the government? How far is that true?
That's absolutely incorrect. That's a totally false allegation.
So you don't agree at all with what the Congress is saying?
No, as far as these things are concerned, I don't.
Okay. But sir, talking about Narendra Modi, you obviously said that there is no Narendra Modi wave in the country. But
In the state, yes.
in the state, yes. But in your speeches, even in the past few days we've seen, you target BJP in the speeches, but you don't talk much about Narendra Modi. But what is your view really about this prime ministerial candidate, which BJP has propped up? What do you have to say about Narendra Modi?
Well, I think, you see, he's a controversial candidate,
Okay.
and that communal shadow remains,
Okay.
which isn't healthy for the country.
Okay. But if NDA comes to power and he becomes a prime minister, so would you think twice aligning your party with BJP then at that point of time?
No, not at all. We remain equidistant, both from the BJP and the Congress.
So, but Rahul Gandhi recently we saw has tried to evolve Congress in a new manner, conducting the experiment of primaries where he said that, this kind of a culture will end the high command culture. Are you also thinking of ways and means to evolve BJD as a party? What is its future? I mean, how do you really think of evolving itself?
I think BJD has evolved to a great extent. It's a very democratic party. We run it in an extremely democratic manner.
Okay. But so there is a perception that the BJD government is not run by the ministers. Of course, you are at the helm of affairs. You are a phenomena behind the way Odisha is running right now. But there is a perception that the ministers don't have much of power and it's only a set of few bureaucrats who are actually running the show. Do you really agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that at all. The ministers have complete powers over their portfolios and are very strong persons in their own right and make their presence felt, particularly at cabinet meetings.
But so the local media here says that, the ministers don't obviously talk on record, but they do tell the media that, there are many instances where they have not signed files and, the secretary just goes ahead with whatever the project is.
That's not possible. The minister has to sign the files to agree to everything or anything.
Okay, so I think I'm not the right person to, comment much on that. But sir, with the media, talking about the media, media plays a large role behind projection of any image. And Naveen Patnaik maintains a clean image. But media is at the same time is very disappointed that you don't speak to the media, you don't hold press conferences, you don't give interviews. And they do want to talk to you.
We have always tried to run a transparent and clean government.
Okay.
And as far as the media is concerned, I'm very open with them and they meet me all the time. Yes, I don't have press conferences.
But so what is the reason?
But because in the Secretariat, one meets them every day
Okay.
on almost each issue that is relevant.
Because the local media says that, Naveen Patnaik is almost similar to Narendra Modi when it comes to giving interviews because he also refrains and he's also media shy.
No, I'm not media shy. One meets them at the Secretariat every day, virtually.
So, according to the surveys, BJD in all possibility is going to come back to power. And you will also almost enter the league of leaders like Jyoti Basu, who ruled West Bengal for almost 23 years. How do you think, would you be able to differentiate yourself with Jyoti Basu? Of course, the terra firma will be different. The ideology of the party will be different. How do you think you can differentiate yourself?
Well, as I said before, we've always tried to concentrate on welfare schemes, on development programs for the people, particularly for poor people. We've tried to run a transparent and clean government. And I think we've also concentrated a lot on efficiency. And that has paid dividends for the last 14 or 15 years.
Okay. But these schemes, there's a whole question mark on how you would carry forward these schemes. But do you have enough money? Because at the same time, the government keeps asking money from the centre. And the centre, obviously, you are running short of funds, which is why not so much of infrastructure development is happening at the pace at which it should happen. So, do you think that you'll be really left with the money to carry on with these schemes of giving laptops, umbrellas, uniforms?
In fact, we have done very well financially in this government. When we came to office in the year 2000, the government was bankrupt,
Okay.
the treasury was empty. Now we are in a very stable situation, and we've been comfortably able to finance the various schemes the government has announced.
But sir, don't you think that this scenario which you're talking about, of a good economy, of a looking ahead economy, this was only up to 2010, till the time the metal prices were high, there was a huge demand for metal, and a lot of service sector was coming in, and of course it's still coming in. But for the last 2.5 to 3 years, there were reports saying that the economy of Orissa has slipped slightly. So do you see it as a worrying trend?
No, because as far as the requirement, as far as revenue from minerals is concerned, that's cyclical. I'm sure it'll be all right again. And revenue-wise and finance-wise, we're not in a bad position, even now.
So you just spoke about minerals, and there were huge whole lot of allegations against the BJP government on the illegal mining scam. Then you had the rice scam, so many scams. I'm not getting into the details of those scams, but even then you've been able to maintain your image as a clean image, with the fact that you've sacked so many ministers time and again whenever you've seen that some kind of a corrupt practice was on. So is that a mantra by which you keep your clean image intact?
No, we've always tried to be transparent in all fields.
Okay.
And people are aware of that.
Okay. Okay. This is the first election, sir, when your trusted lieutenant, the former lieutenant Pyari Mohan, is not going to be seen in the election. Do you really feel his absence will make a difference, or he's just a persona non grata?
No, I don't think his absence is going to make any political difference at all.
Okay.
In the scenario.
As far as fundraising is concerned, party management, you don't think it has impacted?
I don't think it's impacted the party, really.
But would you be ready to take him back if he's willing to come back? Or the doors are shut?
I think that will be very difficult.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and appreciate your coming on to the point and taking all the questions candidly.
Thank you
so
very much.
And in fact, today with this interview, you've dispelled the whole notion that Naveen Patnaik doesn't give an interview. Thank you so much.
Not at all. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir.